I'm one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth.
I love Caesar salad.
Hey, welcome to Husky Boys, a little show about two skinny fellas that decided they wanted to have more than just an orange to eat and started eating everything else. My name's Ian Bagg. This is Robert. Robert, welcome to episode 1 of Husky Boys. How are you today?
Well, it's been a long road to get here.
It's been a long road. We
It's
did
been
some
a
twists and
long haul.
turns. My God, we just wanted to talk, and then I was told we needed more than just talking, and then people listen to us talk, and they're like, "You guys should just talk," and then
Nice.
people are like, "You're dumb."
Yeah.
And I agree. Yeah, that's the point about being dumb. My background is I'm a comedian from Canada that does stand up, lives in LA. Robert, your background is?
I am a ballerina from Ukraine. I lift weights. I do strongman stuff for anybody who hasn't seen. Like most of my stuff is weightlifting, but I act and
Also
do
an
a lot
actor.
of other things. Yeah, I did. It feels weird to call yourself an actor, but I'm more of an actor than a strongman now, and I like it way more. I'll say that.
Less injuries doing acting.
Say that again.
Less injuries doing acting.
Less injuries. You actually get paid. You know, like strongman. It's 60% chance you're gonna get the money they say they're gonna give you, and 100% chance that's not satisfactory either way. So I mean, it's different, but it's fun. I mean, it's like in anything when you start at the lower levels and build your way up, you gotta take your lumps. You know, I mean, comedy. You guys basically do the same thing. You bounce around and you get like food and water and then pretty much a place to stay.
I would say at the beginning you're thrilled when you get to eat at the club, and then you get to a point where you're like disgusted when they ask you if you want to have something from the club. You're like, "What? You guys order something from someplace else. I'm not here to eat
fingers.
Yeah, yeah. Although chicken fingers are maybe the best thing
That's
ever
the only
invented.
thing you can get. Like when you're at a place like that, and it's like it's gonna be okay at least.
Yeah, it's tough to fuck up a chicken finger, but yeah, I'm curious when you say you would get 60% of what they tell you we're going to get.
Well, I mean, I think I said you 60% of the time you'll get what they
Oh,
say.
60% of the time.
It depends on where you're at. If you're in America, they'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna pay you in the next 3 months as we get our revenue from sponsors or whatever." It happens all the time. A show will pop up and it's like it's this big money show, and then it's gone the next 2 years because it hasn't paid anybody for 2 years. But yeah, I remember I was in. I might have been in Lithuania. No, I was somewhere that pays in rubles. Because we were supposed to get like something small, like there for travel, and you do 5 days of lifting and then come back all that, and you get like $2,500. And I remember they tried to say it was 2,500 rubles, and it's legendary story about how Thor went and collected the money for us. You know, truly.
What? Would you guys all travel together?
Yeah, we end up in the same places. We don't like.
But would you guys be all on the same plane? Because I'd love to
take a carpool.
Yeah, I would love to. I would just love to see you all. Just 8 of you squished into 9 seats on the back of a turboprop. That would be awesome.
That happens when you're there. When you get there, for sure. I remember like when we've done a lot of stuff in China, and in China it's always like that where. They like the first day or two we're there, people will try and like act like it's normal. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, 3 of you get in the cab," and like, "Are you kidding?" Like the cab's made it like it's a tiny little thing with a guy pedaling on the front, and like So like after the first day, then people are kind of like, all right, no, 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 one person, you
So,
know.
so you guys, you've done a lot in China, just out of curiosity?
I've been to China a bunch. I tried to remember all of it the other day. I've been up there over a dozen times. It's when I was first getting into pro competitions, we'd spent like 2 or 3 weeks at a time. One time I spent 4 weeks up there in the middle, like not just like the cities and stuff. The cities we did a lot and we do big displays and stuff. But I went so the Terracotta Warriors, which are amazing. They're deep in the middle of nowhere. Like it's like our Appalachia up there. It's like the people come out of the hills up there. It's like holy shit, it's creepy. So
That's
like
funny.
it was like you fly in to Zhangzhou, which I know nobody's ever heard of, but it's like their third
I've heard of
biggest
it.
city.
Yeah.
Okay, so you anyway, it's like a giant city, and then you take like a little puddle jumper to like middle of nowhere, Zhangping or something like that, and it's so that's like another 2 hour flight, and then it was I think it was like nine and a half hours on a bus through the woods and through the hills and all this stuff. Like some crazy fat drunken driver too. Like he's like drinking while he's driving and a thing full a little bus like a short bus full of strongmen, and he'd be like literally on the edge of a cliff, and he'd be like talking. Have you seen Big Trouble Little China?
Yeah.
Just like that guy,
That's
just
awesome.
like the driver in that. And he was like bouncing and laughing. And the guys were all on the edge looking and freaking out like for the whole drive. They were like yelling at the guy and everything. And he thought that it was like the best thing.
That's funny.
It was
He
gnarly.
finally got to scare big boys. Question for you. Many Chinese people in the competitions, like, are they known for strongman?
Not a ton. They have their own shows a lot. So like I competed as a guest in China's Strongest Man a couple times. They've had a couple guys come to Worlds. They're not on par. I don't know what it is. It's just it's like they have all the
Smaller
stuff.
frame?
Yeah, it really is. Like there's a couple dudes there, obviously, that are bigger dudes, but even like their strongest guy was like 220, 240,
Really?
and yeah, so like, 110
So
kilos for you silly
you
Canadians.
yeah, that's funny. You said that there's many shows over there. Are they fascinated by the strongman? Is that why that's going on over
They're
there?
very into displays of like all kinds of like specialties or superiority or like grandeur, like they've got the strongest man or like is a big deal, and the person who's the best gymnast is a big deal. It's like everybody they very much celebrate success and standing out, like being good at something is a very big deal over there. It's very much it's when you're there, it's so crazy. Like I don't know your experience. I want to hear it too. Is like it's for me. Like I really saw such an obvious divide between people. Like here, you walk through like L.A. or Boise or anything, and half the time when it's just normal people, you can't really tell like if this person's wildly successful or they're broke or whatever. It's very linear. But when you're in China, I remember them having a rope that went around part of one of the parks, and
Mm-hmm.
the poor people had to stay behind that rope. And then like everyone else on the other side of the rope was really wealthy, and they were so comfortable with just like being in it. I was getting dressed, and like these group of women and stuff came in and started taking photos with me, and I'm literally in my underwear, like in the back getting dressed, and they're all just walking through, you know. And but the people on the other side of the rope, they're like they know not to cross that freaking rope. It was crazy. I don't know. It just seems so obvious rather than the way it was here.
I when I went over there, I went with Gaff. Sorry, my phone was ringing. I went with Gaff again, and we went to Shanghai, Beijing, and one other place, and I can't remember. But when we were in Shanghai, I was
I haven't been to
really
either of those cities.
Really?
Yeah.
Shanghai is where I noticed the haves and the have-nots. I remember doing a joke on stage saying one side was hookers and one side was homeless people, and they're both doing
Crazy.
this, and they're both doing this. Oh,
That's what is that? That's how they laugh or what?
oh. I know that's how they all wanted food on one side and they wanted cock on the other. But it was so like it was so bizarre to me. Like we're in a JW Marriott and there's a Ferrari dealership in the bottom of our hotel. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the traffic was what blew my mind was how many people could be on scooters and all take off from the stop sign and not run into the other people at the same time. So
Stoplights were a suggestion in my
yeah.
Chinese travels. Like
Yeah.
nobody, maybe it's different in those big cities, but like people, they do not care what the stoplight says. Guys were just blowing through the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely a suggestion. Yeah, it was great. I went before they had the Olympics, so when we went to Beijing, it was very gray as well. It was almost like a dream because like there was so much smog. And I
Yeah.
remember we went out partying one night and it kind of I was like, oh man, I felt like I was in a war movie because all of a sudden we're like just in trees and people are hanging out and get all drunk and stuff. I'm like, it was pretty crazy. I got so hammered I missed the trip to the Great Wall.
That's
That's when I
funny.
knew that's when I knew I had a problem. And it's funny, you don't know you have a problem because my friends that have problems, they still make things. They never miss anything. That's the
Yeah.
that's when you know you're really good at drinking, when you can actually make something early the next morning.
Yeah,
Ah,
or you're really bad, honestly. If
yeah,
you're over 35 and you can still do that with no problem, you're some kind of a monster.
you're s-
You're just a bad
you
like there's people that are just bad people.
you're 9/10 liver, first of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So I was watching a video of you yesterday on TikTok and you were working out. And first of all, do you record your videos or does somebody do it for you?
I do my stuff right now. I wasn't making videos. I was just recording training. Just trying to I was
So you just
really
you
it,
you just
it
had
wasn't
you
even
just
that
had
heavy.
you just had it set up in the corner and it was watching you, right?
I was running my farmers. So farmers walks. It's like, for it's like a picking up weight and running with it. But yeah, I normally I just record
Okay, I'll
like
so
training sets to see my feet.
I'm gonna explain to people what I seen, and then you tell us what. So I see you at one corner of a gym, and you pick up these two things that are basically metal briefcases full of weights in there. I don't know how much does it weigh? It's
The ones you saw, they were 315 pounds on each hand.
each,
So
yeah,
six
each.
thirty.
So you pack like a tiny little Asian lady trying to get her shoes to a country. You've got 315 on each, and you start walking, and then this guy just kind of wandering through. La 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 la. He's in his own world, and you go, body move, body move. And all of a sudden he turns to you and
Yeah.
he just starts moving really quickly. It was a bulldozer coming at him, and he was just like, la 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 la. Ah!
Yeah. I feel bad. I feel bad about it. I do.
It was so awesome. It made me. There's so many parts about it. It is you never feel like a gym is a scary place, but all of a sudden you made it a scary place, but happy at the same time because you weren't mean to him. You're just like body move, body move. So
Yeah.
he wasn't really panicked, but I was just like, oh my God. Did he talk to you afterwards?
No, that's the other thing. He left. He did. Yeah, like he. I. One of the guys said that he looked like he was already getting ready to leave, but like I finished my run. I put the thing down. I took my belt off, and I turned around to. I immediately was like, I'm just gonna go say what's up and be like, hey, don't worry, man. Because he's the new face. You don't want to. You don't want to have a new face come into the gym and get barked at and chased by some gorilla, so I felt
And he's
bad and I went looking and he had left right away. He was gone. Like before
It's probably
before
about
I even had a second.
170. He probably weighed about 170. He was like just a thin guy. And I'm curious what people, I don't know what I would have done if I had been him or if I'd been you. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I would have barked if I'd been you. And I don't know if I would have screamed if I'd been him. Because it was just so funny. Because I watch these videos every so often on online, and people get mad at the gym sometimes, which makes me,
Yeah.
my thing,
Yeah.
the thing that I've been watching lately is people getting into fights at gyms. And the last one I seen was some guys, but he was smacking another guy with like a 10-pound weight. I was just
Oh
like,
my
like just a plate, and I'm like, oh my God, how angry can you be? Hey, can I squeeze in this set? I'll kill you, you mother.
it's it's crazy, man. Guys can be, territorial. It's like if you go surfing at the wrong pier,
Right,
locals only. Those are my dumbbells.
right.
Whatever. It's like it's so silly. But that guy, I will applaud. His reaction time was fast. He got out of the way quick because I recorded that to watch my feet. So I was watching my feet on it, and I was like, oh, my steps are on point right now. I got like my so your first step, not to get too in the weeds, but like your first 2, 3 steps are supposed to be power steps, and they're supposed to be really fast, chop chop, 1, 2, 3. And so like I'm watching
So
that,
almost like taking off in skates, like when you're in
yeah, like
skates. Yeah, yeah,
skating,
yeah, yeah.
football's the same way. When you're posting up in basketball, it's the same thing. It's it's quick, powerful steps, and that guy, he looked more athletic jumping out of my way than anything else. Like I have a video, the longer version of the video is him walking across while I'm getting set up, and then he's talking to somebody, and I'm getting my arms all set, and I look at him and I make eye contact, and I go like this, like this is my nod. I'm about to go, and then I get down and grab it, and I get set, and then he right across, right in front
Just
of me, man.
it's so I never I would do cardio all the time, and a couple years ago I hurt my back, and I started training with my buddies. Like, you need to do weights and you need to do mobility. That's what you need to do. So that's what I
Sure.
work with him on. Sure, I can't get my eating under control. That's my problem right now. And
That's somebody else's problem.
so how much of yours is mobility?
But right now, it's a lot now because I'm just turned 40, and so
When did you
it's
turn
crazy
40?
as I feel
Hold on, when did you turn 40?
I just turned 40 in December.
Okay. As long as it wasn't in the last couple months, I was gonna be mad if you'd had a birthday when I just met you. And you didn't tell me.
No, before we'll celebrate my 41st.
Okay.
So I feel the strongest I've ever been, and I'd turn around and I'd show you my setup here because I'm in my gym right now, but I don't want you to see all the boxes I've got from Costco still. So,
Okay.
anyways,
Don't embarrass yourself. Don't show anybody your tampons.
and so a lot more of it is mobility, and after building my base for so long too, it actually feels like doing that keeps me stronger now. But for anybody else just going to the gym, any kind of like a twisting thing where your core twists, awesome. Walking is awesome. Like any kind of thing that's just fun. Like I always tell people, like if you have fun playing pickleball or basketball or swimming, just do that, whatever that thing is. But yeah, using your core, everybody when they get over like in their 40s and stuff, everybody's backs start to go. I'm sure, like
Yeah.
if you don't do the right thing for your back, it's like it's horrible. Back pain sucks.
From being on planes all the time, like, believe it or not, being on planes is worse than playing any sport or doing anything. It's just sitting in that and because you're sleeping like that, right? So now you're like just you're like one way or another is just all tight. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just bullshit. I don't know. With all the things we work on, I don't understand why we're not working on figuring out death more. Like I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, we can figure out how to give girls sweet tits, but is there any chance of us living longer? You know, I mean, like, and not dying. That's, let's put an effort into that. Anyways,
There's a couple creepy people out there working on it. There's a guy that like sucks his son's blood or whatever. There's all that other.
you know what?
But
I fucking
I hear things. I hear some people. It's just not. It's not like
it's
in the
not
main news. Is all it
it's
is.
not
Like
it's
you're
not
not going to
mainstream.
see it on TikTok.
Right. Well, and TikTok's got we've got a soap that'll get the grays out of your hair. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I've already tried it, doesn't work.
Or we've got people who do skits with Siamese twins and throw food at them.
Holy fuck. That is the funniest thing I've seen on the internet.
He
I'm like,
crushed it. That whole skit, I was like, I cannot wait to hear the next things out of his mouth.
it was so good. And if you go to his page is unbelievable. We'll put up there's a guy that he's the mother of conjoined twins. Are they Siamese twins or conjoined? Which is I don't know. But these two girls are conjoined and they are funny as hell. When the little girl, I don't know if you've seen the one
What's
where
the difference between Siamese and conjoined?
one's a cat.
Yeah, I know, but like, isn't it also? I know that song. We are Siamese, if you please.
I
It's
think
the cat song from the Disney movie.
right. I think I don't know. I just think that might have been the first place they seen it or something. I'm sure it was at a freak show back in the day and they were Asian or something, so they're called Siamese. So
That makes sense. So I probably just committed a horrible racist faux pas. Yeah.
no, there's only like six conjoined people in the world, so your protest that's going to be out in front of your house is going to be very small but doubled.
Yeah. Would be the greatest protest of all time. You go outside.
I have to tell you, so I was in Syracuse once, Syracuse or Albany, I think it was Syracuse, and I was doing a joke about a midget, and there was this scream at the back of the room, "You don't say that word!" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What word?" And they said, "Midget," and I'm like, "Well, how come you can say it?" Right? And the lady goes, "Because I'm a midget." And she wanted to kill me. She was like, "You can't say it." And she was like running towards me. Anyways, the staff, they tackled her and dragged her out of the showroom, right? And they had a bar out front, and she got on the bar and was running up and down the bar telling people not to go see the show because I hated midgets. But it was awesome. The people that were in the bar waiting to go to the next show were like, "He's hired a midget as promo."
That would draw an audience.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like the coolest thing you could watch.
Yeah, I know. Like, what does he do with her? Does he shoot her out of a cannon? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I
Well,
had
anyways.
an obsession growing up with dwarves. Like it feels weird for me to say dwarf because that feels more like labeling. I don't know. But anyways, that's whatever. But
You know what? You know what dwarf sounds like to me?
like an insult.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like the midgets that have jobs, dwarves that go to work.
Do they whistle while they do it?
They go to work. They go to work and they whistle.
Well, I was obsessed as a kid. Like Willow was my all-time favorite movie for like
Great
5 years. I watched that over and over and over and was obsessed with that guy. The guy who plays Willow is like one of my all-time favorite actors to this day still. But
I'm blanking on his name.
me too. He was in Harry Potter. He's been in so many good things.
Doesn't he do
He's done
things
a lot
with
of
doesn't he do things with Ricky Gervais? Doesn't he do?
No, I don't think he did. Maybe like back in the day, like all those shows. That's like how Oprah got her money at the beginning. She would like bring out dwarves and have them fight on stage. You know, basically how you did your promo.
Yeah, basically, I love it. Okay, so I don't even know how we went into that. Oh, because it's just the video anyway. The video is you. I watch clips online like TikTok and stuff like that, but you listen to podcasts. That's what you're addicted
Yeah.
to.
I do. I'm always. I have like 20 podcasts that I listen to. Um, I
You want to rate them?
rate them.
Because you listen to 20.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
down.
Okay. You name your top five, and I'll name my top three because I don't listen to as many.
Okay, top five, no specific order.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Right now, I really enjoy Story Wars. Story Wars has been really fun.
What's that about?
Kill Tony is so this is gonna make me sound like a bad dad. Me and my son listen to Kill Tony together all the time. He
You're a
wants to do
horrible dad.
comedy and he loves listening to it. And he's only 9, but he's learning.
He's learning. That's all. You know what's funny is I was really young when I knew that I wanted to be a comedian too. So I'm not shocked when people tell me my son's only this age and he really wants to be a comedian. I'm like, no, I'm not surprised. That's when you kind of at that age is when you kind of figure out what gets me attention,
Yeah.
right? So is
He
it good?
does
Is it
that.
bad?
He does it. So like we're at soccer tournaments, and when he's in the game, he's like laser focused because he's a big kid. He's got to be on point, or somebody will run past him. He's really good at being focused. But when he's on the sideline, I watched him. We were doing a tournament, and he was just standing up, like doing an act out for his friends. And like the coach turned to say something, and he paused, and then he continued, and the coach started laughing. And I was like, stop, just give it a break.
That's funny.
Yeah. So,
You know what? No, don't stop because you shouldn't. You should be having fun at the game, right?
yeah, I told him during a game, turn it down like 10% when you're in the game, because I don't want you to distract. I want you to have fun, but turn it about 10% down during the game. If at practice you're making a joke and the coach laughs, that's your barometer. You're good.
Right.
No worries. Coach thinks it's funny, then you're fine. But
I would think coaches
that's
are more
actually a
dicks.
good barometer too.
Yeah, if you can make a coach laugh during practice, that's pretty big because coaches are usually more serious during practice than during a game. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's true. I didn't think about
what
that too.
I find I enjoyed when I did Kill Tony, I enjoyed doing it. Although the comics were just it was so uncomfortable for they were so bad. And then his ones that he gets through sometimes, I'm just like that have become big stars. I'm just like they're horrible too. Like I remember I won't even say a name, but this one guy I had to do a show with, and him and his buddies were doing blow in the back in the green room, and I've never wished for a bad batch more in my life. Just like, please let them all die.
Please.
Anyways, yeah. But I do find it fascinating the dynamic on that show with the band and the girl that comes out and gives the drinks and Tony and his
Right.
buddies. I really find that all fascinating more than I find the actual people doing comedy. So
I agree. I actually agree. And most of the the stuff I enjoy is things like you can hear somebody catch their breath, like the moments in the minute. You can hear the people who are being genuine versus the people who are trying to be cool, and the people who end up like even being weirdly genuine and that kind of stuff. I find that. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to say all my. I'll do what you did. You didn't say any names, so
yeah,
I'll be the same.
there's no need.
Don't do it.
There's no
Don't
need
do
to.
it. You don't
Yeah,
have to. I wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't pressure. No husky pressure over here.
No husky, no husky feelings. I feel like you should be able to talk about things, but you don't have to point at the person because at the end of the day, anybody that can find any sort of success in our business, you have to kind of give a hats off to, even if you don't like it. You
Yeah,
have to
for
go,
sure.
oh, that's interesting that you've been
For
able
sure.
to connect. And that's what we're all looking to do is connect. So
Yeah, I
what is that?
I totally agree.
What's that Story Wars?
So Story Wars is Joe and the guys from Legion of Skanks. Big J and Joe. Is it Joe DeRosa?
Joe DeRosa.
And The Puerto Rican rattlesnake, is it Joe DeRosa?
No, it is I can't remember. I don't know. I really don't don't know. We won't
I'm
use any
messing
names.
that up. Anyways, it's the guys from Legion of Skanks. They're great. They have guests on, 2 or 3 guests. Luis Gomez, thank you very much. So they have guests on that come in, and everybody submits like 3 stories based on a subject. So like if we were doing a show, it'd be like, childhood or summers or Dallas or whatever, And so you write 3 stories and everyone turns them in, then the person reads them and you have to guess whose story it is. And it doesn't sound that interesting, I guess, when you say it, but it's funny. It's funny hearing people try and bullshit each other, and then like hearing a story, and then everyone's like, oh, like somebody does something ridiculous, and you're like, oh, that's this person for sure, and you really get to hear everyone thinks this guy's ridiculous, and it's not even his story or whatever. It's a funny idea, and it's another one of those situations where it makes people just be natural, normal. It's not like they feel like they have to entertain or come up with a set or a joke. They're all just kind of talking, and in that it just innately becomes funny. It's a good one. You should give it a try. It's definitely good.
I'll give it a try. See, all mine are hockey. Okay, so we're at 2 for you.
Yeah, almost. I mean, Rogan's on mine. I like Rogan.
Have you ever been able to? I got a question about Rogan. Have you ever been able to make it through a whole episode because they're so long?
I always do. Yeah, I listen to podcasts, bro. I do.
You really do.
I listen to them all the time. When I first wake up in the morning, I put music on. Me and my daughter, we always have a dance party in the mornings. And right now, her favorite song is Bohemian Rhapsody. So I'll wake up and I come out, and she's inevitably in the kitchen playing with something with her mom or something like that. And she'll just go, Mama, ooh, and that's what I wake up to. And so I put on music, and then I go to podcast. And while I'm doing anything and everything, I work out, I write, even if I'm playing a video game, I turn the sound down and I put a podcast on. I even started a new one. It's like Sleepy History or something like that. I listen to history podcasts. I listen to comedians. I listen to some political stuff. I literally listen to like at least 20 regular ones. So I listen all the way through.
So the ones I listen to, 32 Thoughts is a hockey podcast. I listen to that, and 100% Hockey. 100% Hockey may be my favorite hockey podcast right now, followed by 32 Thoughts, and then followed by Spittin' Chicklets, and then followed by
how much hockey news could you be fucking looking for? You're like filled up to what's going on in hockey. Like
I'm up to the tits. I'm to the tits in hockey. I enjoy different people's point of view is what about the game I love. And
I like sports podcasts too. Like it's even the hearing somebody like just who's fluent in your language, it's calming, it's relaxing. It's like we don't have real relationships in the world anymore. Like nobody has those. So we have these weird fake ones. We listen to somebody who calms us.
I have one that'll probably send you over because I know you're a little bit. You lean to the right, and I lean to
the right.
You lean to the right. Rachel Maddow. I like podcasts that are like a couple episodes long. Like this one's I think 6 episodes long, and it's about the in like the 1930s. It's called Ultra. And she just goes over history and tells this story, and there's other people in it, and they go over the history of things that are happening kind of like they're happening now. And it's really interesting. It's called Ultra.
I know she's like Globo Media, but who does she work with?
She works with MSNBC, I think. But I found this just
CIA. Is that what you said?
CISNBC.
CIA.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I get all my history from the CIA too.
You listen to that podcast and just I want you to listen to it, and then we're gonna talk about it, okay?
I'd be happy to.
So
Like
ultra. I think it's and then I'll
he's
listen to
like,
one that I'll
and
listen to
we
one
went
that you
to
pitched
Iraq to find global destructive weapons of war, and
because there was
everyone believed that we would fight the tyranny, and the sands would read crimsoned with the blood of the evil.
but that's the funny part about that. That's all Republican stuff.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Those people flip sides all over the
Yeah.
place.
Well, you know what they used to
The
what do they call
Cheneys are Democrats, homie. The
right?
Cheneys are Democrats.
They call them war hawks, right? So
Yeah,
they're not affiliated to
yeah.
anything. They're affiliated to money.
War. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
and
they make their money.
that's where they make their money. That's why they
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. But if you find a podcast that you want me to listen to, I'll listen to it and we'll talk about
Okay.
it. Okay.
I think you should go with Story Wars. That's a good one. It's also kind of just popping up and blowing up right now. I think
You know
it's
what?
very
You know what
new.
interests me about comedy podcasts is they're very incestuous. They're all just like kind of intertwined, and I
For
find that
sure.
all fascinating.
Yeah.
My French bulldog wants on the couch and can't get up there, and she's just like crying. I can't get up there. You gotta help me up.
Yeah. You know, the comedy, I guess some of them, I don't know. Does it bother you that they're like that? Like, I mean, it's all,
Not at all.
I'm trying
It
to
doesn't
see
bother,
both sides of it. I don't live in that world. And also,
but it doesn't bother
I
me.
live in Boise, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
like, if I lived in
I live in
LA
Long
or,
Beach. I might as well live in Boise. I'm like so far
yeah,
away from.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Um, um, it doesn't bother me at all. Like I revert back to I'm never in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. And I also find that I have to give a tip of the hat to anybody that can find any sort of success in this business, right?
Mhm.
I don't have to like you or what you do to be able to tip my hat, right? So and there's very few people that have success in anything without putting the work into it, right? So I
Right.
can't take away from somebody that has put the work into it. So
So
yeah,
basically, yeah, you don't like it.
no, fuck everyone. It's all about me. How dare you bring up other?
The most Canadian answer ever.
Yeah. Love and beer.
Sweet. You know,
Yeah.
I every time I try and look every once in a while at what's going on in Canada now that we talk. It's like
Mhm.
every little bit that I see, it's always like Canada's a fucking shit show of craziness, or like I don't
It's
know.
really
It's crazy
it's
because
really
like
mellow.
almost everything, all the stuff we get is like the most flamboyant part of news or whatever. Is like that's what gets clicks.
Well, here's what I'll say about Canada. People make they're living very well out there. And they have everything they want and more. They have like the people that I always see complaining about things, they have boats, they have houses, they have big trucks, they got motorbikes, and they tell me how their life are bad. And I'm just like, you're getting a little over your skis, buddy. Right? You
Mhm.
really don't to be happy, you don't need all that stuff. It's just bonus, right?
Yeah.
So how is life? It's pretty good. You got healthcare, you got schooling, and I get it when they people say, well, the problem with healthcare is there's lines. It's population, right? You can't put those expensive machines where fucking only 12 people are going to use them in a year, right? They have to be in major cities and people have to come. That's the problem. So it's
Mhm.
population when it comes to that kind of stuff. But
Well,
for the
it's
most,
funding it too. That's what sucks about it. Is like, it, what's crazy is people think that Canada is wild with the socialism, but we pay more taxes here. And like,
yeah,
if they would just stop spending our tax dollars on killing people and start spending it on stuff like that, like, there's no need to even raise the taxes.
yeah,
But
where it's we all pay basically the same amount, but where does it go?
Right.
Right? So you gotta look at it like that.
Yeah.
Ugh, I love it.
Yeah,
What do you got?
you look very comfortable with this conversation. You love it.
I love it. I know.
Let's talk about something else.
No, no, no. I just, like you. I travel the world, and I see the goods and the bads in every place you go, right? And if you're always saying things are bad and you can't see the good, you've got a problem, right? You've definitely if you like there's so much good here and there's so much good in Canada. Yeah, there's always going to be bad, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be bad. But does the bad outnumber the good? No, it doesn't. And none of those places.
Yeah.
So our water's clean, our air is clean. Man, I do not want to bring any of those factories back so we can dirty up the lakes again. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So anyways, what do you got going on this week? Let's talk about that before we wrap it up. Episode 1, Husky Boys, putting on jeans.
I'm trying to think.
By the
Just
way, have somebody told me that you're known as the Post Malone of the strongman. Have you ever heard that?
not once. No. People have said that I look like Post Malone, but
I was just like, oh no, I get it a little bit, but you have no tattoos, right? So,
I put up a picture once that had like a filter,
uh-huh.
and the filter had the fake tattoos. And I put that up one time, and it definitely, I got kind of a similar face. He's got,
Do you have a
like
beard?
the German cheeks,
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. What's funny is, like, I don't even remember when that was. That was like 10 years ago. It was a long, long, long time ago.
I want to get a filter where they take your beard off and see what you look like without a beard.
Oh, it's easy. I put pictures up without a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to yours a little bit, actually.
Oh, you look young.
Yeah. No, it's you know, just a face. I like having it. I trimmed it.
No, can you describe yourself? It's just a face.
It's just a face. It's just skin under here. You know. I will give you this though. We've got a group of us strongmen that kind of do a lot of stuff together. The four of us had a show on the History Channel. It was me, Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, and Nick Best, and we had this thing. I can't remember what happened, but two of them had to shave. Brian and Ed, they'd shaved, and they went. Brian's the strongest man who ever lived. Big, giant, hulking monster of a dude, and Eddie's a pud, but he's pretty strong. And they both shaved, and they look like they were 10 years old. They look so funny. Your face with baby fat on the side of your face, it's really hard not to look like a child. I've seen photos of Brad Pitt where they added like chubby cheeks, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
That's so funny.
They keep you looking young though.
Yeah, you want to look young, you don't want to look old. Yeah, yeah, so fantastic. Yeah, you're 40. You got to keep it going. What do you got going on this week? Let's talk about what we got going on this week.
I'm right now. Everything's chilling. Just I'm training for arm wrestling coming up in a few months.
You make me laugh. So you're an arm wrestler as well.
I'm not an arm wrestler, but I'm gonna do an arm wrestling match, and it's possible I could do like a big championship too. But like I'm not. I'm just doing. I started it for fun. There was a local guy here who's like a 25-time world champ. This is hilarious. Like this guy shows up at the gym randomly, and everybody was already trying to get me to do arm wrestling. And then he was there doing stuff, so I tried it out, and turns out I'm okay at it. So I'm gonna do it in August, and it'll probably be a one-off. Like people hate when I talk like this. I feel weird saying it. I don't like doing that shit. People hate when I say it, like I'm doing a thing I don't like or whatever. It's like if you were telling people Like, I never really wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be, Cleopatra or
No, but
whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I did a show years ago called Make Me Laugh, and I did it. I did it because it was an opportunity. After I did it, I had to sit in the shower and cry myself to sleep afterwards because the most horrific thing I've ever done. But you're like, nah. And at the time, I didn't really want to do it, and then I did it, and I really hated it. But who
Yeah.
knows? You're doing it. Who knows? You might love it. You might just you might have one of those things where one of those little guys, those little tiny little 120-pound guys, just beats you. Oh God, I love those videos where they're just like,
Oh, oh no, I know who I'm going against Eddie Hall. So
oh,
him and I are doing a super match, and I've been building the forearms up. I actually, my arm is sore as shit. Like, it's like,
quit whacking off so much.
yeah, I don't use my right. No,
I use the weak hand. I use the weak hand because it feels like a
my
girl.
strong hand. Yeah, but it's like when you first train something new, it's like a sore that my body hasn't felt since I was like 15.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. I was driving my son and like driving. I always drive with one hand. Like, I'm from Watsonville, so I have bad posture. I lean in and I like 12 o'clock, and I'm half in the passenger seat, driving like I'm driving
Oh
a
God.
lowrider.
Can you get a photo of that? Because I want to see that.
That's just how I drive. And
Oh my God.
my arm cramped, and I couldn't let go of the steering wheel, and I pulled it off with my other hand. And then and I'm not exaggerating, an hour and like I think it was like 13 or 23. It was some weird number. It was like an hour and 13 minutes without stopping cramping. Just the whole time. I was
Mustard. You got to have mustard to stop a cramp.
no, that's herpes.
Herpes stops cramps?
No, AIDS and mustard stop herpes.
AIDS and mustard. AIDS stops everything. That's the good.
Mustard helps burns. It really does. All the other
Burns?
stuff ignore. But if you like burn your hand or something, you put mustard on it, it won't blister.
My buddy swears on mustard on cramps. And
On
he
the
gets
skin?
cramps. No, just you eat it.
Oh, I think so. That's like the distraction thing. Like, it's like, so like you eat a big thing of mustard and it takes your mind off of that because you're tasting some weird thing. But mustard's the only clean condiment, and I eat it all the time. So like I put it on everything because it's not sugary and stuff. It's actually good.
Ah.
For you. Mustard's a good condiment. But
Look at him.
I don't know. I do pickle juice. I do that.
All right.
Have you tried it? The mustard thing? It sounds.
I haven't.
It sounds like an old wives'
I'm
tale.
gonna say this right now, and it's gonna happen later today. I haven't had a cramp in a long time,
Oh no!
so I guarantee you I'm gonna cramp. So
Uh-huh.
I'll
How
let
come
you know.
you don't do you? What kind of physical stuff do you do at all?
I do. What do you mean? Do I do it like I? So I go to the gym. I try to go 5 to 6 times a
What do
week.
you do?
I do weights, and I do stretching, and I do mobility, and then I do cardio. So I'm there for about an hour and a half. So I
And
do
you haven't cramped in that long?
no, I guess I'm not over like I'm trying to think when I usually get them in the middle of the night when I get them. And
Yeah,
they're you
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Do you
it's
sweat
just
when you work out? Do you sweat?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love to sweat. Yeah. Honestly, I should be in very good shape, but I just can't get my eating under control. I'm honestly
How
thinking
bad is
about
your eating?
bad. I'm thinking about obviously bad. I'm honestly
Tell
thinking
me.
about I'm thinking about fucking jabbing a needle into my gut, to be honest with you.
Husky honesty right now. What is it like? You eat shit all day, fast food. You eat bad stuff late at night. Give me your Huskies.
So I basically now I try not to eat past 9 is what I try to do.
Right. But we're talking about what you do.
But when you work, try like when you're doing 2 shows and you're doing like and you're finishing a show. I don't like to eat before a show, so that kind of screws everything up. When we were in Australia, we just ate horrible. We're like, oh, let's try that. 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 And you're just like, "Bleh."
The weirdest
So,
stuff I ever ate was in Australia.
but yeah, what'd you eat?
You don't want to know.
I did a gig last week in Reno, and it was called the Big Game Feed. And the food they had there, they had like octopus lasagna. They had um, chicken fat gelato. It was yeah. I'll put the menu up. It's insane. There was
What the chicken fat gelato was like sweet?
I didn't try it. I'm like, no. They had bone marrow brownies. They
Brownies.
had
That's crazy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
like kind
bone
of
marrow in it. Well, that's
yeah.
also people get so stupid. It's like the person sucking down a freaking brownie. You don't need to pretend it's healthy by putting bone marrow in it. Like, eat your
It's
freaking brownie.
I they had tiger prawns there. That's what I like. They had like these wicked tiger prawns.
Is
So hold
that
on.
like the Colorado oysters? What are those called?
No, no, they're just they have bands brown bands on these on the prawns, so they look like tigers. You're
I love prawns too. Also,
yeah.
like whenever it's a big game, wild game situation, like that meat's always better. It's freaking.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the menu here. I got that menu here. Da, 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 da. Uh right here. Salmon, turkey bolognese, wild boar, veal, Salisbury steak, but from elk,
Nice.
pheasant breast, Colorado lamb racks, crawdad pot pie, rattlesnake sausage, venison medallions, wild rabbit, alligator tail, a verde, and I'm trying to
Is
find.
verde, is that just how they cook it?
Yeah, I think so.
My son asked me what veal was
Espresso.
2 days ago.
Oh, yeah, to let him know that's a baby
I
cow that
told
never
him
got
the
to run.
truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think we're
tough.
ever allowed to have veal again. I don't eat it really. It makes me feel bad.
Yeah,
Poor little
totally.
suckers.
Here's some of the sweets. Espresso buffalo milk cream brulee with chocolate beef tallow.
They're doing too
Ugh.
much.
Yeah.
And it's $642.
Yeah.
It'll be this
Cupcakes,
big.
cupcakes, handmade duck fat caramels with goat milk. Chocolate dipped chicken skins, assorted mini creations.
Cambodian
Uh,
breast milk.
just Asian duck confetti noodle salad, quail salad. Yeah,
Those don't
yeah.
sound crazy.
No, yeah. They had a couple other things there that weren't on the menu that were.
It
I think
sounds like
there's some
the
sort of
chef
cobra.
is a Nazi back there beating people like.
I love it.
Yeah.
I went on afterwards and I said, "Hello, vegetarians."
Boy,
So,
that's
uh,
freaking that's crazy, man. That's those are those. I ate it. Did I tell you about going to the Sydney Opera House? I'll tell you
no,
real quick. So I was in Australia doing promotions and stuff. And this guy was really trying to flex, like act like he's rich and he's cool. And he was like driving us around in this flashy car. I could barely fit in. Like the whole time, all of his stuff didn't strike me as cool. I'm not a money guy. Like
right,
I'm very much, I like to walk around barefoot. Everywhere I go, I make sure I touch the ground barefoot, as hippy dippy as that is. I've connected myself, grounded myself all around the world. It's really, I think it's cool. But he was this douche bro. And so he took us to the Sydney Opera House and we had a table right out by the water. It was like really nice, fresh
yeah,
and fancy. And the menu comes out and the guy's like, oh, no, 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 I'm ordering. It was a $225 steak. And this was before everything went crazy and jumped up 300% in price. So like
right.
today, this is like a $320 steak or something like that. And the whole time while they're cooking it, the guy's just talking about himself. And man, these women, they love me here. I can't get them off of me. This money, I have too much money. It bothers me. I have too much. And it's like all this shit. And they bring out the steak, and he's sitting there saying this stuff, and I make direct eye contact with him, and I picked up the bottle of ketchup, and I poured it all over the steak, and I was like, cool, really cool, to where it was more ketchup than steak. And then I sat there with a fork and knife and ate the whole fucking thing.
That's really funny.
He didn't say another word the whole night. As soon as I put the ketchup on the plate, he stopped talking.
It had nothing to do. You figured out how to shut him up. I love it. I
didn't want to be like aggressive. Everyone always expects me to be aggressive, but I'd rather fuck with you in a different way,
But I will fuck with you. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
I love it. We need a way to on my hockey podcast. We do a shout out every week. Should we do a shout out every week? You want to shout people out? How would you like to end the show?
Well, I might be too cheesy. We could just say some. We don't have to call it this, but we could say something nice or something like you said. You want to say something nice? Well, people are always saying negative shit and all that stuff. And,
okay, here we'll just say something. I'll give you something nice to do this week, and you give me something nice to do this week.
Okay.
I want you to find, and this is just easy. I want you to find a door. I want you to find somebody going through a door that you wouldn't open a door for. Do you know what I mean?
And open the door for them?
Yeah. But it's got to be somebody and I want you to describe them next week.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, for sure. Well, then for you, while you're doing some... Wait, what?
Suck a dick.
No. I was going to say, when you're ordering something, a coffee or whatever, just try and slip in the I love you.
Okay.
Like, thanks, love you.
Okay. I love it.
Cool.
I love it. Have a great day. Have a great day, Rob.
You too, bud. Good talking to you.